Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live daily photo show on YouTube every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. You should be here live because it's a lot of fun. If you're live, you get to ask questions. And as a reminder to those who are watching live, if you got a question for me, make sure you type @PhotoJoseph in front of the question. That puts it nice and big and bright and red on my screen so that I know you have a question. Otherwise, it just flies by like something on the wind. There was a something in there, I lost it completely. Good morning, everybody. Also, of course, if you really want to get my attention, there's that little dollar sign down there, little super chat button. You can hit that, and that always gets my attention. So today we're talking about this guy. This is the Manfrotto Nitrotech N8 head, and we're gonna talk about how to balance it out. And I've had this thing for a few weeks now. I've used it on a number of shoots. I've been using it for a variety of different ways, both still and video. And I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So let's see here. A couple of things first. A little housekeeping. The unboxing for this, if you haven't seen that video and you want to see that, that's linked up there. You can go check out the unboxing. Also up in there is a link to some video, some test footage that I shot with it. It was a real estate thing, so we're talking about real estate. It's not a big part of that video, and I will do more test footage with it. I had actually intended to this weekend, but as I just showed you, for those of you here for the pre-show, the weather outside sucks. So I have not been outside shooting over the weekend like I had hoped to. What I plan to do, as soon as it clears up, which will be later this week, is to shoot some video and stills with this lens, the 100 to 400 Leica on the GH5, and really see how smooth this thing is. Because it's one thing to shoot with a fisheye lens and have a panning head, fluid head, and it looks smooth. If there's a little jitter, you're not going to really tell. But you put an 800mm equivalent on there and you start panning, if it's not smooth, you're going to see it. So that's going to be a really good, effective test. That'll be fun. A candle in the wind. That's sure, John, throw out the 70s song references there for me. Let's see here. So, oh, by the way, on the questions, if you got questions that are specifically about this, throw them out now. If you got questions that aren't about this, then hold on to them and we will address them after the show in the second part of the show, the commentary. Okay. So first thing I will point out about this, it comes with a manual, as you would expect, as it should come with a manual. Kind of sucks. I'm reading the thing going, turn this crank anti-clockwise, turn clockwise. I'm like, what? And I tried it, and then I realized the things are kind of in the wrong order, and one says anti-clock or clockwise, and it should say whatever. I just throw it away. I'm going to show you how to balance it. Ignore the video. It's going to be ignore the manual. It's just going to be better. Yeah, we're going to get this thing all set up. So let's see here. Anything in the comments we want to hit before we start this off? Oh yeah, this is actually very good. Brent saying, wasn't there a recall on these heads? Thank you for reminding me. Yes, it is a voluntary recall. I read the press release about it, and here's what happened. Manfrotto essentially said, and you can take this for however you like as far as marketing goes, but it's all very positive. They essentially said that in early units, there was discovered that a feature about it could have been better. And so they've redesigned a component of it, and I think it has to do with the CBS system, the counterbalance system. They redesigned a component of it to make it better. They said that there have been no reported failures. You don't have to worry about it failing, and it's really only something that would even come up if you've been using it for really heavy use for an extended period of time. So apparently no reports of actual failure or problems with it. It's just something that internally they decided, this could have been done better. So what they did is a voluntary recall. You send them your head and they'll send you a brand new one. And I'm not sure if they cross ship, or I'm not sure how that works. But what's really sweet about it is as a mea culpa, they will give you one of their Manfrotto LED light panels for free. They don't say which one. It's obviously not going to be one of the big $1,000 ones, but that's cool, right? That's all right. So I think everything I'm going to show you today is going to be the same. I haven't seen whatever's modified, so I don't know if the handle's going to look different. I don't know if there's going to be physically any difference or if it's just going to be something internal. That they don't say in the press release, but I would imagine everything I'm going to show you today still applies, even if you get one of the newer ones. But that's it about the recall. So it wasn't a big deal. It's not like your camera's going to suddenly fall off your camera. It's just something has been improved. So there's that. Alrighty. All right. With that said, let's get into it. So the first step in let me change my cabling here. The first step in doing this is the bowl. So balancing this out. And I will say that this is probably the only part of this head that I don't really like that much. So I've got a nice close-up camera here so we can do this. So you can see how much this is moving around in here. This is because it's loose right now. The idea here is, and it's a brilliant idea, and this isn't the only tripod that does this. The idea here is that when you set up your tripod legs, you don't want to have to get them perfectly even, right? You could spend 5 minutes going through each leg, making this one a little bit taller. Wait, no, make that a little shorter, trying to get it adjusted, and trying to get your tripod head level. And the reason you need the head level is so that when you're panning it, obviously it's not level, let's pretend this is level, so that when you're panning it, you're not tilting it. Like see right now, okay, here, let's make it not level. Right, and as I pan it, you can very obviously see this is not even, right? This is not a smooth, straight pan. So if I was trying to pan a shot here, suddenly I'd be going downhill or uphill or something. So you want to have the head level. So these kind of bowls allow you to unlock something, position it in place so that it's level, and then lock it. And generally the way that's handled is by a spirit level. So there is a tiny little, here, and I don't think you'll really be able to see this that well. Let me see if I tilt it. You kind of sort of see it, but there's no, I guess you can't. It's like right there. It's a little spirit level. And we show this a bit in the unboxing. There's actually a light that you can push on here to illuminate it from within so you can see it even in low light situation. And that's great, but the problem is that it's kind of hard to tell when it's actually perfect. And the reason for that is you can't get straight down on this. So if you think about it like a level like you'd have, a spirit level like you'd have in a level that you level at your table, whatever. This is a round one, and there is a black circle and a black dot, and then the bubble. And you should look straight down and align that bubble straight over the black dot, and that's how you know that it's level. The problem is that even if I take the camera off, let's get this thing off of here. Oh, and I guess that's the other thing I should say. I'm not the biggest fan of this quick release head, although I am getting used to it. Even with it off, I can't physically look straight down. That's not possible because the head is in the way. So you kind of have to look at it at an angle, and let me turn on the light to illuminate it, and I know that you can't see this, but at an angle and get that in and go, well, I think that's right. And it's been okay. I mean, it's not like I haven't had any detrimentally bad balances because of it, but I just feel like it could be better. I feel like that is a weak point of the head. Now, that said, somebody else watching this might go, yeah, dude, that's the way they all are. Get over it. I do not have, this is my first high-end fluid head. I've got the little fluid head that I've shown before on the Travel Mini tripod, Travel Mini Manfrotto. We'll link to that here as well. That was a fun little tripod. I actually really like that tripod. It's being used on that camera right now. It has the same problem, so I don't know if this is a Manfrotto thing, if it's just this is just the way that all heads are, or whatever, but it's just something to keep in mind. So anyway, not the end of the world. Okay, so let's get this thing balanced. First of all, you got to put your plate on your camera. Now this, you're not going to have to do a whole lot of balancing if you've got a really lightweight camera, and honestly, even this GH5 with the 100 to 400, it's not that heavy. So there's not a whole lot of balancing to be done, but we are going to see exactly how it is done, and even if this was a significantly heavier camera, the same thing would apply. So first is where to put the actual plate on here. Now this plate is, let me get my coin out of here. This plate is currently, let's see, if I do this, I think you'll be able to see it. Here we go. I've positioned it all the way at the front. Now the only reason for that is because this has this big old foot on the camera, on the lens, and the actual socket is way over here. So that felt like a fairly centered, balanced point. But if you look at the manual, and as I would expect, pretty much normally, you would probably normally put it more centered. So if I was putting this on the camera body, not on the lens, I'd probably start with this centered. But it doesn't really matter. You can put it wherever you like. One of the advantages of putting it all the way to the top here, or at the bottom, or wherever you're going to put it, but putting it in a position that you can remember, is once you've got this on here and you put it on here, you get everything balanced, there's a little hole in the head here, and you can see the numbers that are on this plate. So see these numbers here? So you can say, okay, with this lens set up, I need to put the plate at -2, and that could be useful. But I'm not going to worry about it that much. So I'm just going to put this thing on here in its frontmost position because that just feels good, and make sure that's straight, and lock that guy in. Okay, so now we put this thing on the head. Now before I actually put it on there, let me loosen everything. This is something it doesn't tell you in the manual. It says put it on, balance it, unloosen things. I'm going, but then it doesn't, it's not, no. So camera off. Unloosen. So this is the CBS, the counterbalance system. We start by unloosening everything. So we're going to pop this guy out. Let's just go into the close-up here. So we're going to pop this guy out, and we're going to unloosen it. And here's part of what I didn't realize at first. You got a long way to go to unloosen this thing, like a really long way to go. So you can just loosen and loosen and loosen and loosen. Okay, and now, did I go the right way? Let's see here. Yes, I went the right way. So that should be totally loose now. I'm also going to unloosen this. This has a direction showing you which way to plus it, but not to minus it. That should be fairly obvious. So we minus that, and we loosen the head here as well. So everything is loose. So that is as loose as that goes. You could loosen this drag system, but there's really no reason to. If I loosen that all the way, if I take this all the way, this is like, you know, super, super spinny loose, right? So that's, oops, sorry, wrong shot. There we go. Come back here. There we go. So that's super spinny loose. Now you obviously don't, generally want it that loose, but you can tighten that down however you want. Now that's irrelevant for the counterbalancing system. So whatever, just put that wherever you like. Okay, so this is loose all the way. This is loose all the way, and this is unlocked. All right, now let's put this thing on. So we put this on, snaps into place. And this, by the way, let's take a look at that again. Let's go for a nice close-up on here. The way this thing works, it doesn't slide in, and that was a mistake that I made when I first unboxed this thing. I thought that it was, I thought it was supposed to slide in because my other Manfrotto head does, but then I realized, oh no, this one, you just put it in here and slap down. And now that it's down, it can't go, I can't fall off, right? So there it's on, there it's on, right? It's not going anywhere yet. So now the first step in balancing this is to get this in a position so that the head is not automatically falling forward. So make sure this is actually loose all the way. See, it's already, like, I feel like it's not. There we go. Is that, see, I'm telling you, man, the directions are weird on this thing. Okay, loose, loose, loose. Okay, so there you can see that's loose. It's falling. It's not leveled out. It's not balanced out there. If I put it all the way back to the back, that's its natural position. So we want to find first a position where it sits centered. And for this lens and this tripod plate in its current position, it's the -2, which I realize you can't see there, but I'm looking through the little window, it shows -2. Now I'm going to lock it. And to lock it, you simply take this head, or this handle here, and pull back nice and hard. Now this thing, as far as the way it comes on and off, I know when I first set this up, someone said, oh, I hate the way Manfrotto heads are like this. I will admit it's not my favorite. It's a little finicky. It's not going to come off accidentally, which is obviously the single most important thing about it. You don't want it to come off accidentally. It's not the easiest thing to get off super quickly. But basically what you have to do is loosen this to start. So I've pulled it back. It's now in a lock position. If I push it forward, it's loose, but it's still not, it still can't come off, right? This is not coming off yet. I have to now push this guy in, this thing here, simultaneously while pushing this forward. And it can be done with one hand, but you gotta get used to it. So it's kind of like that. So I basically, let me force this down, release that, force it, like just pretend it's got the head in there. I have to simultaneously do this. Oops, come back here. There we go. Simultaneously do that, which is a little bit tricky, but once you get used to it, it's doable. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so now let's put this back in. I know that it's my -2 position is going to be balanced. Lock this into place. And now, as I said, we are even, right? This is not tilting forward or tilting backwards. So now where the counterbalance system comes in, the idea here is we want to set it so that if I tilt it down, it stays there. See, right now, if I tilt down and let go, it pops back up. If I tilt up and let go, it pops back down. What we want to do is set this so that wherever I position it, it stays. And that's what this whole thing does. Now it's just a case of tightening it. So now you just go tight, 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 wrong direction, tight, 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 tight. See, I think our direction's wrong. So that's not it. And we keep going. And it's a long way to go. No, it's still not it. It's very exciting. So it's getting better. See, it's getting better. Go a little bit more. Still could be a little bit tighter, a little more. Oop, too much. Now it went too much. Now it's trying to pull down. See, there's pulling down, so that's too much. Let's go back a little bit. There we go. Look at that. So now, as I position it, it stays where I put it. Probably a little bit A little bit less. Oop, too much, wrong way. A little bit more that way. A little more. It's just, it's a finicky, finicky is the wrong word. It's sensitive. It's sensitive. You got to get it just right, but once you get it, it stays. And this is the beauty of it, right? This is the point of this system. Once you've got it dialed in, it stays where you want it. And that's the point of it. That's what's really cool. So now that that's in, now that the balance is done, I put the handle in, close the handle on that. So again, let's look at that again. So that's open for adjustment. Close it in, and now this can't twist, so you're not going to mess that up. And now this guy simply adjusts the tightness, the friction. So right now you can see it's quite sloppy in there. It's very simple. So now I'm just going to tighten this guy up a little bit, and it's too much. So like right there. And now I've got a really good resistance, which is going to be good for doing slow pans. And I know you can't tell the resistance in there, but that's the idea. So it's good resistance for a slow pan. The same thing happens over here as I tighten this, the fluid drag system. So if I loosen it up all the way, so let me loosen this all the way. And again, this is what you saw in the beginning, right? This is just spinning freely now, right? That's, it's spinning freely. But as I tighten this up, tighten. Now there's some serious resistance in here. And the advantage here is that I can, when it's tight like this, there's a good resistance. It allows me to do a smoother pan without having to go. It's like if I have it really loose, let me do this. If it's really loose and I want to do a smooth pan, I'm relying entirely on my ability to move this in an even pace. And that's fine for like a little like this, but if you're trying to do a big, long pan, odds of you getting it perfectly even when this is really loose are pretty slim. So by tightening this down, there's resistance to it, and now as I push it, it just feels so much smoother. It'll look much smoother, and the same thing on the tilt. So I got a nice, good tightness in there. And then if you want to lock it in, if you want to lock in the panning, this little guy here just locks into place, so now that can't pan. And simultaneously, if I want to, let's put it this way, if I want to lock the tilt, so I can't do that, this guy locks in, and now it can't tilt. So now it's completely locked in. It's not going anywhere. So that, my friends, is how that works. It's straightforward. Once you get it figured out, it's straightforward. And once it's adjusted, unless you're swapping lenses out all the time, that's adjusted for this lens. There's no preset. It's not like I can say, okay, now set it to the preset position for this lens. So you will have to kind of do it for each time. But I think all things considered, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's worth doing to get that really nice, smooth. Let's unlock that and unlock this. Really nice, smooth ability to just position that camera and lens wherever you want it and know that it's going to stay there. So that's that. That's all there is to it. Let's see what's going on in the comments here. I've seen a bunch of stuff flying by here. Someone asked about unscrewing or unloosening. It's a screw and it's unloosening. So I'm using the terms interchangeably. I'm not unscrewing it to remove it, unscrewing the screw, which is loosening it. So I hope that helps. Let's see here. Let's go back to the comments. Let's go to the chat. SRO Digital says the Pro Manfrotto video heads have the same spirit level positioning issue. Yeah, see, it's just dumb, right? Isn't that weird? John Warby, unloosen and being tighten is an American versus an English thing. It's just, loosen, unscrew, screw the loosen. You get it. You got it. You figured it out. Gray versus gray. Thank you, Ryan. 50 Shades of it. Okay. All right, this comment. Beardy Face says, got my Manfrotto Befree today for my G80. That's the one that I reviewed earlier. We've already put that up here in a link. First tripod I own with the smallest fluid head there is, as far as I know of. Almost as pretty as the Nitro. Do you think bigger equals better? That's a great question. Okay. So bigger, it does mean better in this regard to some degree. Bigger is better in the sense that it's going to be smoother. You're going to have more control over the resistance. Like this has, right now, I wish that there was a way to convey the resistance on here, but this is really strong, yet incredibly smooth resistance. If I tightened up the Befree tripod, the travel one, this much, it would not move, or it would kind of stutter a little bit as I moved it. So this allows you to get smoother pans, for sure. There's just the counterbalancing system, of course, doesn't happen in that one. The counterbalancing on the Befree is simply by adjusting this forward or backward, and you can tighten. It's not this. You can tighten the knob on it, and it will kind of hold it as you tilt it down or up, but not really, and that will loosen over time. It is not designed as a counterbalance system, so you don't have that advantage of it. But for pans, especially on a camera that size, would you say the G80? Yeah, for a camera that size, pans on that are going to be great. This is almost overkill even for this, honestly. This is really a big head for a camera this small. But if you're shooting, especially with a long lens like this, then it is worth it. It is worth it to have that really smooth pan. Less for still photography, more for video. Oh, and in case you're wondering, if anybody's looking at this collar in here going, what's the point of this? There's 2 points. You can actually take, let's go back to this shot. You can actually take this off, and we'll talk more about this lens later, but you can take this off and screw the tripod mount directly into this piece here. But you might have some troubles getting it fitting on your tripod head, but if not, I didn't even tighten that in. Good job this morning. Tighten that on. But the big advantage is I can loosen this and I can go vertical without changing the center point on the camera. This is one of the big advantages of a collar like this. Also, when it is on a tripod like this, the weight is balanced off the center of the lens. You're not putting all the weight of the lens hanging off the front of the camera. If you put the tripod mount in here, all this weight would be pulling down on it. It's not going to hurt it, but it's, in general, it's one of those things you go, well, let's kind of balance things out a little bit. Balance is better. But that's what that does, which is really, really cool. Okay, so back to the question, is bigger better? Bigger is smoother. Bigger is going to give you more control, more precision. But if you don't need that, then it's a lot of money to spend, right? This head is $550, I think, compared to your entire tripod that was a couple $100. And I know I own that tripod, and I love it. It's a great travel tripod. But this is the Mac Daddy. This is a big boy, and it's beautiful. I mean, it is super, super smooth. I don't know if this whole, is it kind of over-designed, this whole nitrous dioxide thing? I don't know. I don't know, because like I said, this is, and I said this earlier, this is my first really high-end video head, so I don't have a lot to compare this to. I can only compare it to cheaper, smaller heads, but I definitely like it. It's a beautiful thing. Faux sure. Adrian, oh, this is great. Adrian says, I've had the same Manfrotto tripod for 16 years now. It's still perfect. This is true, right? Manfrotto gear is solid. Made in Italy. This is made in Italy. The smaller, cheaper ones are made in China, something to be aware of. But the bigger, badder stuff is made in Italy. It's gorgeous. I mean, these guys make really, really good tripods. There's a handful of companies out there that make phenomenal tripods, and this is absolutely one of them. I have a lot of other Manfrotto. What do I have, Manfrotto? I have a Super Boom. You've probably seen that in some of my studio wide shots. I've never done a demo or anything with it, but the Super Boom allows me to put a light, or a camera even, you could, but really it's for a light way up in the air, completely manipulate it from the ground level. It's a big, heavy-duty thing. That's a Manfrotto. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see here. What else? What do we got? Jason McCurry Film says it's not the best Manfrotto, but the MVT 502AM bundled head has the ability to look straight down for the spirit level. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, here, I'm going to pull that one up. I want to see what this looks like. Let's see here. Safari. So you said MVT. Man, I swear to God, these model names. 502AM, 502AM. All right, let's see what this looks like. You said it's the bundle, because that's the legs. What did you say? Oh, the bundled head that comes with the legs. Okay, so let's try this one. Let's see if this is it. Go back to there. So there's, so this is 500 for the legs and the head. So in the one we're looking at right here, it's 500 just for the head. And let's see here, this head, so you're saying I can't see, maybe it's right there? You say you can look straight down on it, so I'm not sure where it is. It must not be there, it must be somewhere else. But that's great, that's good to know. So some of them have better positioning for that. That's good to hear for sure. Thank you for sharing that. And so SR Digital, or no, that was, sorry, Jason McCurry, what do you think of that tripod and that head? Do you like it? Is it really good? Would you like to have something better? Let me know. That'd be a good thing to respond to in here. All right, SR Digital says, do you think the battery grip would still fit on the GH5 as you have the camera lens mounted on the video head? Oh, that's a good question. Yes, I would just have to, not in this current position, but if I slid this back, it would. So let's do that. Ryan, please grab the battery grip. It is on my demo table on the shelf underneath. While he's doing that, I'm going to take this off. And I like that. That's a good question. Let's find out. So here, I got to unloosen that, and now two-handed. Oh, of course, I've got, come on, there it goes. Got this thing loose as well. Perfect, thank you. All right, so let's get this thing on here. So while I'm futzing around with this, what else is going on? Jason says, let me see if I can get you a link for it. I pulled up the link. We got the tripod here, but Jason's saying that tripod is not too bad. We're talking about this one here that we just looked up, the MVH 502A fluid head and MVT 52AM tripod. So there we go. Cool. I'm glad you like it. It says not too bad. Not too bad is pretty good. What else is going on here? Ryan Green, you guys are chattering about something. I'm not sure what's happening here. I prefer something more like what you have on the show. Yeah, well, this is a nice head. I would may as well show this to you here since we're here. So this just comes off. If you want to take this off, you can. Which, when you're hand holding this lens, it's nice to have that off. But you can also push it out of the way, sort of, while it's on. So, and I shouldn't be getting into this because this is a whole discussion for another show. But we're here, so we'll just do it real quick. So that's on there. If I put this up, it does get that out of the way, right? So now it is out of the way. We got this view set up, may as well use it. So this can be a little painful on the hand after a while. This doesn't get out of the way, but it does get in the way of your zooming. So that's a little annoying. So I wouldn't, if you're gonna shoot handheld, it's better to just take it off. Okay, so now what you wanna find out is, let's put this on here. Putting on, so this is the battery grip, the BG GH5 for battery grip GH5. So now you can see, let's position this up here in a way you can see. Let's position it this way. So just, you can tell that this is higher than this. So if we were to put this plate on where I had it before, it wouldn't fit, but I can position the plate up here. So that's what we're going to do. So let's position the plate farther out, and I will have to rebalance the head, right? Because not only have I changed the position of the plate, at least I know that the -2 slot's probably not going to be the right place, but I've also changed the weight distribution on this thing. Now I don't have a battery in this grip right now, so the balance would still change just a little bit more than what I'm doing, but it's fine. It doesn't matter for the demo. It's not like you're writing down the numbers here. Okay, so let's see. So now, you can see here now I have to, let's go back to this. I can't push this as far forward, right, because now it's hitting that, which is fine. But let's go ahead and loosen everything up. And I swear, I'm like losing my mind over which way this thing spins. Maybe that's part of what they're fixing in the design, is making the whole thing a bit more clear of which directions go where. Okay, so let's loosen this up all the way. All right, so now I want this thing to be, so there you can see it's tilting back. Push it all the way forward. Still not totally balanced. You know, I might have, maybe I should put the plate a little bit farther forward to get that balanced. Now that's a trick. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna put the plate a little bit farther forward so that I can move the camera a little bit farther forward. Okay, this is fun. That was a good question. We'll see just how it accommodates. There we go. All right, put that guy back on. So forward, ooh, it's interesting. I'm starting to hit this handle here. Okay, so I'm hitting that. So that's kind of as far forward as I can go. So that's interesting. So I'm definitely gonna have to compensate with a little bit tighter on the counterbalance system, because it does want to pull it back. Let's go to this view. You can see there I can't get that any farther forward. Now can I, yeah, could I mount this differently? No, I mean that's its position. If I got rid of, no, I can't go upside down that way. No. So that's interesting. Okay, well, this is why we do these things. This is how we learn. All right, so let me put this back up. Let me tighten this back into place so it's where it belongs. And I'm gonna bring this as far forward as I can. So it's gonna be right there. Lock this in. That's now locked. And now I know that my counterbalance is never gonna want to balance straight out like that. How can I compensate for that? I really want to fix this. I want to compensate for this. How can I do this? Now you got me thinking. Now you got me conundruming. So I feel like I would need another spacer up here so I can move the whole thing farther forward, because it's this that's blocking it. What if I put that on the other side? Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is what we're gonna do. Take this guy off. This is designed to go on the other side if you want to. So that will get it out of the way. Perfect. Try and do this without dropping anything. Let's see, do I have to put a different, it comes with a different one of these. I wasn't sure if it was a backup. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just do it like this. Aha, problem solved. Excellent. Like I said, it comes with another one of these that might be a left-handed version of it. This way it's just upside down, it doesn't matter. It's all still fits into place. Okay, so let's, fine, that's good enough. Okay, so now I can, let's loosen this up, I can move this farther forward. Still not quite balancing out though, is it? Because now it is, now I'm still hitting here. Let's go back into the close-up view. I'm still hitting here. I'm able to get it farther forward than I was before, but it still is not as far forward as I would like it to be. Interesting. Well, this seems to be more, you could put some kind of a spacer block on here to raise the whole thing up a little bit, and that would solve this problem. The other problem with it right here now is that I cannot rotate. It's not, obviously not important if you're doing video, but yeah, see, I can't even rotate this now because it's hitting that the release handle there. So this is really not designed to go that way. Okay, so let's go back to the way we were. I'm not going to reposition the handle, but we know that we can't go that far forward. So we're going to lock it in place as far forward as we can go and still have the ability to rotate. So I can go a little bit further forward. Okay, that's it. We're going to lock that into place. Okay, that is now locked. Let me tighten this thing so it stops moving on me. There we go. And now, see if we can adjust this head. I swear every time. There we go. See if we can get this thing adjusted so that it is holding on. No, I'm not even sure. Honestly, I swear I'm not sure if I'm going the right way. It says plus. This is so bizarre. Let's just... Okay, clearly I'm not going the right direction, am I? Yeah, I think the minus and plus are backwards on here. I think that's part of the confusion. Maybe that's what they fixed. Oops, I'll leave that out. Maybe that's what they fixed. Okay, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm being completely daft here. And my arms are getting tired. Whew. What else is going on? Would a cage solve the problem? Interesting. Probably. Well, remember that the reason we're having this issue is because I'm mounting it on the lens. If I put the camera plate on the body, we wouldn't have that, but then we also wouldn't have the rotation, which wouldn't matter for video, but then we'd also have the weight of the lens on the body, which is not really a problem, but probably not something you want to have on there all day long. Okay, there we go. Now it's positioned. A little bit looser, too loose. There we go, that's holding. Okay, so that's holding. Tighten this up a little bit for our smooth pans. Okay, so we're back. We're back in business. Ideally, I would like to be able to position the body farther forward, but I can't with this configuration. But it still works. You just got to get it adjusted right. So there you go. Okay, Joshua says put some fishing weights on the hood. Right there, you could do that. That would be one way to solve the problem. All right, that's it. Let's wrap this thing up. I think that's good. What was that? Was that something about, sorry if I missed this. Oh, no, that was the question about the video head, so we got that. Right on, guys. Well, thank you. That was a really good question to experiment with. I'm glad that we did that, because it's not as simple as just sticking it on there. It does actually have to, you have to compensate for it a little bit. Right on. All right, let's see here. What do we want to talk about real quick before I throw you guys out of here? Are we doing that today? No, that's not today. Let's do this. Oh, I haven't talked about, actually, no, let's not do that one. Let's do this one. I haven't talked about this one in a while. There we go. Low light photography. Another one of my courses on lynda.com. Shooting in low light. It's a really fun course, actually. We had a lot of fun shooting this. You can see this is a painting with light demo that's part of the title card on there. It was a blast. This is a really fun course. We shot this out in the Nevada desert outside of Las Vegas, like a 2-hour drive outside of Las Vegas. If you're interested in low light photography, check this out at photojoseph.com/LyndaLowLight, or just go to Lynda and search low light and my name, PhotoJoseph, and you'll find it. And if you're not already a Lynda subscriber, just type in photojoseph.com/Lynda, and that will give you a 10-day, possibly more, free trial of lynda.com. I encourage you to check that out. It's fun. Lynda subscription is really, it's a great deal, really great deal. Oh, and for those of you who have already pre-ordered the GH5 training, the first chapter is finished, rendered, compressed, uploaded, and all that's left for me to do is pop the links into the sales page and email all y'all who purchased it already that they're available for download. So the first portion of the show of the training will be available for download probably within an hour or so. Everything is all set and ready to go there. So, so you can check that out. So gh5training.com. If you've already bought it, you will be able to start downloading the first pieces today. If you have not bought it yet, because it is not yet complete, you can still get it at the discounted price. If you wait until the whole thing is finished, then you will have to pay full price. All that said, remember that this will also be available on lynda.com. Can't tell you when. It'll be obviously after the whole thing is done, but even once it's done, it gets delivered to Lynda. They go through a QA process, so they might have it for a couple of weeks, maybe more. I don't know, have zero control over it, but they have it for a period of time before it becomes available on their library. So if you don't mind waiting, and you're a Lynda subscriber, don't buy it from me. Wait until you can get it on Lynda and not have to pay any additional. If you can't wait, or you're not a Lynda subscriber and you don't want to be, then you can get it from me directly, and I would encourage you to do that. John is asking, are your Lynda courses also available through PhotoJoseph's Expert, or are they exclusive to Lynda? This is the first non-exclusive course that I've done for Lynda. So everything else that's on Lynda is only on Lynda. This is an experiment. We'll see how it works out. It all comes down to the numbers. Do I make more money off of it exclusive for Lynda or non-exclusive? So this is an experiment, and it's a totally different type of course. I'm self-producing it, which is very different as well. Normally their whole crew would be involved. So this is a first of its kind, but after it's been on their site for probably at least a quarter, maybe 6 months, then we'll be able to evaluate it and decide what's better for everybody, whether it goes exclusive or not. But that's all that really comes down to. So, but the answer to your question is no. There are no other courses that are on Lynda, and no other courses are available on my website right now. Everything that's on Lynda from me is only on Lynda. Hope that answers your question. All right, that's it. Oh, Jason confirms. He says, apologies. I believe the head is the 701 HDV that you can look straight down on. Oh, okay, so let's pull that up real quick, and then we're going to bail out of here. And we'll come back for the extended Q&A, don't worry. 701 HDV head. Let's see here. What is that? No, it's not a head. 701 HDV. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. This is the one. Wait, what? No. What happened? This item just continued. Oh, well, look at that. Okay. So you can't get it. It does show it still. Let's see if is there a better view of the head. Still don't see where the spirit level is, but it doesn't matter because it's discontinued. So you can't get it anymore anyway. So there. All right, folks. That's it. If you have other good questions you want to ask, then we'll be right back for the commentary part of the show. If you are watching this live, stick around, don't go anywhere. If you are not watching this live, then at the end of the little four square thing that's about to pop up, you will see the link to the next part of the show. See you guys in a few minutes. Bye-bye.